A very good evening to all those. We will soon be beginning our webinar. Before that, I would also like to tell you what this webinar will be about. We were once students like you, focused on our theoretical knowledge only, but with time, we learned the industry requires much more from us as a geology or geography students or geoinformatics students. We should be able to deliver what skills industry requires. Whatever curriculum we have been following in our universities and colleges was mostly based on theoretical concepts. But to become employable and industry ready, we need certain skills that are not taught anywhere. In this webinar, we will give you a brief introduction to all those skills and how you can pursue them, how you can become a master of those skills. We'll also be discussing different routes that are available to us as earth science students. So we will be beginning in just 1 minute. Once again, I welcome you all in this webinar where we will be discussing the skills that we require as a student of Earth Studies in the age of AI. Now we are beginning this webinar and I hope this will be beneficial to all of you. So, my name is Utkar Sharma. I have completed my master's in geology and have been an active remote sensing professional for over 4 years. Currently, I am serving as a teaching assistant in IIT Bombay Department of Earth Sciences. Here with me, we have Mr. Sandeep Das, who have had extensive field experience as a mining geologist and hydro water exploration, groundwater exploration. He is also serving as a teaching assistant in Department of Earth Sciences, IIT Bombay.
Good evening, everyone. So, the thing that we'll be talking about is the main issue that we face as a student of geosciences in our field, and what skills can we acquire to overcome those. First, let us talk about what is the main employment pathways, the traditional pathways and the modern pathways. Traditionally, what we do as a student as a of geology, geography, geoinformatics, or environmental science is that we do a bachelor's followed by a master's. And After completing masters, we become kind of clueless whether to go for a government job, whether to go for a private job, or to go for a PhD. So usually this entire population of geosciences, they divide in these three major groups: the public job aspirants, the private job aspirants, and those who are aiming for a PhD. Now, what is the issue with these people is that currently the government job vacancies are, they're they're reducing in huge numbers that I'll be discussing in the next slide. So as you can see here, is that for geology people, we target mainly GSI, Coal India, and other PSUs. So here we have two data, one of Coal India and the other is of Geological Survey of India. See, in Coal India, you can see that consistently after 2017, the number of vacancies have decreased drastically. And the same goes for Geological Survey of India. Geological Survey of India, we have irregular vacancies coming up every year. So we don't have a fixed, vision that, let's say we give our 1 or 2 years after MSc to this preparation, and then you don't have any guarantee that whether the coming year you'll be having, vacancies less than 20 or not. The same goes for PhD. Uh, Getting into PhD is becoming tough day by day. And for geography students, they aim for teaching services or they also go for PhD. For teaching, also, there is no regular vacancy coming up every year. So this leads to a bottleneck that often creates a lot of problems and a lot of mental stress that we as a student go through. Next slide. So, what exactly is the solution to this? Should we stop preparing? No. The answer is not stop preparing. The answer is, not only prepare for these traditional job roles, but also blend these traditional job roles with new technologies that is coming up. This entire vacancy that has been created in the AI and ML data science sector, we can also fill up that. So there's an idea among the students among of geosciences that we cannot participate or we are not eligible for this kind of jobs. This is completely a wrong idea. So what should we do? We should blend the traditional skills with the relevant skills. It's very good that you have knowledge of geomorphology or climatology, but blend it with the modern techniques like using data sciences, use data analysis, visualize those data, use machine learning. Secondly, don't stick to traditional softwares only. Learn them, but also learn how to increase your productivity. Using AI and machine learning has made that possible these days. And the third point is transforming from the basic analysis mode to the automation mode. Let's say you're digitizing a map. So why what we do, what we learn in universities is that we take a map, we take the GCP point, and we georeference it, and then we again do multiple maps to georeference it. But why to do the same task over and over again when you can automate this? So in this entire webinar, we will be discussing those pathways that you as a student can take up along with your preparation to bag some big offers in MNCs or other projects that is available from the government side. Next slide.
As most of you may know, the geospatial industry is one of the biggest industry that employs people from the Earth studies, both geoinformatics and geology alike. Also, people from the geography background flock to this industry. According to Amitabh Kant in a GeoSmart conferences on 25, there is a prediction that this industry is going to double in coming years. But in order for us, the earth science students, to get benefited from it, we need to learn some skills. We need to upskill ourselves. With traditional knowledge about the subject, we need to move forward with new age skills. And in the next slide, I will be discussing the roadmap for that. These are some of the policies that government has announced, which will be employing the use of GIS and vector database. PM Gati Shakti is one of the major and dream project of PM Modi, which will focus on integrating different logistic support from different ministries in order to maintain a homogeneous and synchronicity between different ministries, whether it is NHAI, Water Resources Ministry, or Public Welfare Development Ministry. Along with it, campaigns such as Amrut and Swamitva scheme will focus on utility and property card in rural and urban areas respectively. With the advent of Geospatial Policy 2023, government is focusing on developing a decentralized system of geospatial data where you can easily participate and uh, get the data through online resources and help in building nation. For this, all these activities and all these policies that government want to implement, there are much more industry rise which you can reap your benefits from if you get skilled on all those remote sensing and geospatial based skills. So here I will be briefly discussing a commonly applied role map that you can all follow and become a specialist in remote sensing. First of all, you will be needing to develop a conceptual knowledge regarding geospatial data and GIS. You should be familiar with different data types like geotiff, LiDAR, vector data, along with the coordinate system and all those conceptual knowledge that you are going to use. There are some softwares that are freely available, such as QGIS. It is one of the most comprehensive and versatile tool you can learn and develop your remote sensing representation, visualization, and analysis skills. Along with it, there are some software enterprise industry-based software which are asked in the field of corporate geospatial sector, such as ArcGIS Pro, ADAS Imagine, and Envy. Most of these softwares are licensed based, but the features they provide are arguably one of the best you can get. You will be easily be able to visualize, represent, analyze satellite imagery in your system itself, and you can sort out a very large amount of data in your system through all these softwares. These data types, satellite data types, and drone based data types that you can get through data collection will help in urban planning, watershed management, hydrology, and agriculture. All these topics will be also be discussed at the end, where I will be talking about environmental geosciences and the use of AI in it. Next step after building your base in remote sensing and software, you have to change your change your mindset and deep dive into Python and the libraries associated with vector datasets like pandas, NumPy, GeoPandas, Rasterio, and Shapely. Shapely and Rasterio are important libraries, Python libraries, which will help you to analyze, process, create intersection, and other geoprocessing activities using the Python skills that you will acquire in the next step. These will help you to automate your large amount of data. But after getting a large amount of data, you should be able to develop a sense from deriving information from a data requires you to be able to handle a large set of data. So in order to learn that, you will also have to improve your machine learning skills in the field of geospatial data science. For this, there are some actively pursuing, actively existing algorithms and frameworks developed by open source communities. Scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and PyTorch are one of them, are few of them. Along with it, Google Earth Engine is also a very powerful tool that employs the use of satellite imagery on a planetary level, which can help you develop a sense of the geological, geomorphological, and coastal data and find your results easily without even using your own computer. Most of the work that you can perform on Google Earth Engine can be done with a very weak computer because most of the processing is taken place on the cloud itself. And step four is combining all these services and all these skills that you have acquired during your previously explained three steps and using it all together to develop a meaning and to using the spatial science that you have already got from previous three steps and using it to deliver decision making ideas and decision making information. In this slide, I will be discussing the roles that geospatial specialists can play. So, two roles are important, which may even branch into many other roles that are geospatial data scientist and geospatial developer. Geospatial data scientist will have to work with different type of data. If he is working on coastal data, he will be working with the rise and fall data and the changes in the coastal area using spatial data and satellite imagery. And similarly, other data like urban development, for this he will be working with building footprints and road networks and all those network analysis data. Many fields employ geospatial data scientists to develop an optimum solution for their utility management. And the other role that you can play as a geospatial specialist is GIS developer, where you will be using raster based and vector based servers like map server and geo server to showcase your maps, to showcase your vector data in real time. You will also be developing dashboards along with it. Now, in the next slide, we will be discussing the mining industry.
So now let's start with the mining industry. Why mining industry is important because it is one of the most fundamental industries of the geoscience sector. It contributes to about 2 to 2.5% of India's GDP and also much more in indirect ways through steel, cement and power. Now India has been a major producer of coal, limestone, iron ore, bauxite. However, the recent focus of the Indian government has been shifted to critical minerals and using the digital methods for mining. Next slide. So now let's briefly mention the policies that recently government has taken up to boost employment in the mining industry. You know, most important of them is the MMDR Amendment 2023 Critical Minerals Reform, the MMDR Amendment 2015, and all those amendments that I have mentioned in this slide. All of these amendments and policies have given more freedom to the private players, as a result of which more and more manpower is required, leading to more and more employment in the mining industry. Also, I want to clarify one doubt is that many people think that mining industry is only for geologists and engineers. This is not a correct concept. Even if you can apply your knowledge of GIS in mining sector, you too can get employed in this industry. Next slide. So the three main verticals of the mining industry are the data acquisition and exploration, followed by analysis and modeling, and followed by operational optimization. In these three verticals of mining industry, it has undergone drastic changes. It has incorporated new technologies, as a result of which more and more employment are created in these three verticals. For example, if you look at the data acquisition and exploration methods, apart from the traditional methods of exploration, we are incorporating much newer technologies like using of GIS, remote sensing, drone image processing, LiDAR for mineral exploration and mine planning. Once you're done with data acquisition, we go for analyzing those data. Even in those analysis, we use modern technologies like geostatistics and machine learning. We do 3D geological modeling for reserve estimation. And finally, we go for operational optimization. In that case, government has stressed in using of IoT and AI to increase productivity. Next slide. So now look at the detailed roadmap that one can take, irrespective of their background, whether they are from geology, geography, or environmental science, to get into mining industry and get a decent job. Your first step would be building the foundation of mining geology. You should know the terms, the geological terms, the geological knowledge only that is required in the mining sector. So first, get yourself clear of mining geology and ore geology. Second important thing that I have realized while working in mining sector is that we who are from geosciences sector, we are not aware of the mining laws. We barely study for the mining laws. So we should learn these mining laws, followed by the GI softwares, because these GI softwares will be required at every step of your job. So get yourself equipped with QGIS, ArcGIS, and Envy. In step two, right after step one, move into Python, because times has changed. Now get yourself, teach yourself the basics of Python, jump into mining statistics, go into the libraries like pandas, numpy, matplotlib, and explore statistical libraries so that you can analyze huge amount of data. After you're done with Python, go to step three, that you start your ML journey. You don't have to be a computer scientist. Just learn the basics of ML like scikit-learn, TensorFlow, PyTorch. After you're done with machine learning, do some portfolio projects that you've using the knowledge that you've acquired from step one, two, and three. After completing some portfolio projects like mineral exploration map, then you move into step four, where you focus on mine planning, modeling, and advanced softwares like Voxler, Stratter, Rockworks, Surpac. These softwares will help you to get absorbed within the mining industry. Next slide. So after you have followed these roadmap, you can easily apply from these in these roles like geospatial and mining analyst. So the knowledge that you have acquired in step one and step two will make you eligible to apply for this kind of roles like geospatial mining and analyst. When you're done with step four, you can easily apply for this role, 3D geological modeling specialist. In a similar manner, other posts like mineral exploration scientists who look for mineral deposits, drone mapping and mine survey specialists who are in high demand in today's market, and mining automation and AI specialists. Thank you.
Now, I will be discussing all the roles as a earth scientist you can play in climate and environment sector. Developing upon the information that I have delivered on geospatial roles, here we will be also discussing some of the important policies and programs that government has launched in order to reach those sustainable development goals. As you all know, climate science studies has become an important factor for our international and national community. Paris Agreement 2015, as well as previous agreements related to environment policies, are very important in this age. Policies such as National Action Plan for Climate Change, National Mission for Green India, National Coastal Mission, Namami Gange Program, and Life Mission are encouragement campaigns which involve high and large amount of data related to environmental science, such as water contamination data, environment related like atmospheric data, forest fire related data, and satellite imagery based land cover land use change data. All these environment and climate related data, along with temperature, contamination, pollutants, atmospheric conditions, and the air quality data, these all this data needs to be studied. And what can be better than already existing earth science students, which can employ their data science skills and draw valuable information from them. So here I will be discussing the roadmap for you to become a remote sensing as well as a geospatial and environment specialist using your already existing knowledge about environment. As you all know, most of the environment related roles are open to everyone present there, but you should have a basic knowledge about the climate and earth, which you already have through your curriculum. So, in order to develop a sustainable and environment friendly outlook, first you will have to work upon your climate studies and environment related subjects. After building a good and thorough knowledge on these subjects, and also getting familiarizing yourself with ArcGIS, QGIS, and NVIDIA's, where you will be able to analyze rainfall related data, groundwater data, flood and drought mapping data, forest cover change detection, urban heat island mapping, and flood drought mapping. Using these softwares, you will have to shift your gears and upskill yourself to Python libraries, where you will use stat models, QGIS based GRASS and ADAS libraries, along with SciPy to automate your work. Along with that, to handle large amount of data variables that we actually have in environment sciences, you will also have to upskill yourself in machine learning libraries to learn about regression, support vector mechanism, and other machine learning based algorithms, both unsupervised and supervised, through statistical learning and in the field of you employ them using Python. And the final step in your complete environmental science specialist will involve you learning SWET, ModFlow, HECRAS, and these are some of the important tools and softwares that you can use. HECRAS is one of the most important software for water groundwater modeling and which is majorly used by civil industry. But as you are also from science background, you can also learn about the catchment and drainage map patterns and model floods, all those things that require scientific development and prediction of the environmental variables will involve you to understand what the data says. For this, you already have basic knowledge regarding your conceptual ideas of it. Next, time series and climate analysis is also very important feature that you will have to gain through following step 1 to 3 and develop yourself as a climate prediction modeler. Also, there is a rise in drone based environmental monitoring with projects in cities and states such as Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, where under Operation Dronagiri, various models and various policies are also implemented by Government of India, where you can use the data collected by drone for prediction of agriculture growth and prediction of land use land cover change using cellular automata. But for this, you will have to develop a basic understanding in how to develop, in how to arrange and how to manage large data sets. For this, you will also have to learn SQL, PostGIS, and Postgres, which are major database handling database handling language, and how you will be able to deal with raw data in large amount. For that, I will advise you to, along with Python, also learn one database management system language. And the roles that you can play in all these sectors after getting familiarized and upskilling yourself are climate data scientists, which predicts the climate and environment policies that are changing, environmental GI scientist, climate risk and disaster analyst. These are some of the roles which employs already existing climate and environment data and forms a very good decision on based on it. It also provides help in decision making to government bodies as well as mine planning and sustainable development authorities, which are the stakeholders in these SDG goals. Along with it, carbon accounting and sustainability specialist has become an official role in major MNCs and in the mining industry also, that require people to form a estimation of how much carbon as how much carbon footprint each industry or each industrial activity is producing. So I would request you to look into different roles that are developing in this field also, because environment and climate change is not only a sector where you can get your profession, but also a place where you can really contribute towards making this planet a better place. Along with it, an environmental remote sensing specialist and climate policy environmental planning analyst, you will have to read and thoroughly understand the policies internationally and nationally applied in all of India and world. The conferences, the records, all those uh, treaties that have been formed in previous years related to environment. help you gain an insight on which roles and which are the policy roles and which are the job profile that you can look out for. One of the important development in the field of environment science is CCUS. As some of you may know about it, carbon capture and storage, which employs the use of geochemical and chemical processes by capturing the atmospheric carbon and storing it for future use. It also helps reduce burden on our environment. It helps to capture environment generating carbon and utilize it for other purposes.
Now let's look into the hydrology sector. This is also one of those interdisciplinary sector where both geology, geography, as well as civil and environmental people can get in. Now, why is this sector important at all? We know that with increasing population of our country, our groundwater is under severe stress. This, brown areas that is shown in this slide are areas of high groundwater stress. And you should also remember that agriculture and industry is directly dependent on the, the hydrological resources of our country. But it's not only the availability of groundwater, it is also about the quality of groundwater. Look around the surface water bodies around you. Are they clean enough for you to drink? Or or even they're clean enough for you to use for your household work? No, right? That is the main concern that is, of our country. And as a result of which, our government is putting a lot of stress on the hydrology sector. Next. So now let's look at some of the current running policies and projects of our country, followed by the Jal Jeevan Mission, Jal Shakti Abhiyan, National Hydrology Project, National Aquifer Mapping Project, Namami Gange Mission, Atal Bhujal Yojana, Amrut Project, and Mission Amrit Sarovar. All these projects that are currently running, as a result of which a good chunk of employment is generated every year, and government is moving towards using of AI, ML, and GIS technologies in identifying and developing the water resources of the country. Next slide. So now let's look at the roadmap that you as a student may take up to get into this industry, and not only get into this industry, bag good packages. The first thing is that clarify your basics. So learn thoroughly about hydrology or hydrogeology and GIS. Learn about the groundwater system, learn about what exactly is aquifer testing, learn about the groundwater exploration techniques, analyzing those data. Also learn about the softwares like ArcGIS, QGIS, Motflow for mapping groundwater resources of the country. Once you're done with the step one, quickly move into step two, where you again start with Python. Whether you're from mining, whether you're interested in mining or uh, geospatial, Python is the key tool. Clarify your basics of Python. Jump into libraries like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib. Also in statistical libraries like SciPy, stat models. Then you right after go into spatial libraries like GeoPanda, Rasterio. Then make some projects. Whatever you have learned in this Python module, make few projects on it. Then go into machine learning, step 3. Learn scikit, TensorFlow, do hydrological modeling, and some projects using machine learning algorithms. Once you're done with machine learning, step into industry relevant tools like Modflow, MT3DMS, GI softwares like Leapfrog, FeedFlow, Hectras. After completing these 4 steps, now you are an AI ready hydrogeologist. Next slide. So once you're done with these 4 steps, once you're done with your portfolio projects, look for these roles like hydrological data analyst. Here your Python knowledge will look for watershed GIS analyst. Here your GIS knowledge that you have learned in step 1 and step 2 will come handy. Look for advanced roles like hydrological modeler, water resource planning specialist. These are high paying roles that will help you to get you a head start into the hydrological industry. Next. Now, let's talk about the oil and gas industry. Now, this oil and gas, I saw one question in the chat box that which one of this sector is, paying high salaries. Now, the thing is that if you acquire the knowledge that we have mentioned in the roadmaps, all of these sectors will be high paying. But if you simply tell me to choose one sector that is, you know, uh, blindly high paying than any other, that is this oil and gas industry. As you can see in recent times that we are having troubles with, with our gas resources, the LPG resources in our country. So our government is focusing on more and more exploration and alternative energy. Here I have mentioned some of the policies that government has taken up and the projects that government has taken up that is currently going on. Next slide. But before jumping into oil and gas industry, you should understand that for getting into oil and gas industry, you should have a very strong foundation knowledge. So I have mentioned here some 8 of the most important topics that you first should learn before getting into this. The first is basin analysis and petroleum system analysis. First, you should know that how this petroleum system in our country or all over the world occurs. Then you get into GIS and geospatial analysis and exploration, and how you can use these GIS, technologies in exploring hydrocarbon resources. Then you should learn about seismic data interpretation, because you know you can't directly see the oil deposits beneath the earth. For that, you should have some tools. Seismic data or seismic tools are the most important that is used in the industry. Then you should go with well log analysis and petrophysics. Once you're done with these 4 basic topics, jump into data analysis and programming, followed by machine learning, and finally move into reservoir modeling and simulation. Next.